Yeah, thank you very much, Barrister Mbesa. Even before we move on, since we're concluding, Barrister Fru, please just give a few minutes for Ochiba to ask a question that could require some of our chipping. Ochiba Nelson, please go ahead.
Hello, Director, you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear, please.
Okay, I did throw a salute for all man way a day for day and say we're gonna continue. We need to do the great job we're gonna do for Amazonia people. So I did just call now because I want to learn something. Because I have some information for it is show like say they will form SDF now for solve the Southern Cameroon's problem. And so one day my problem now I see if they will form SDF, I mean SDF it will be a national party for La Republic or they will want pass through SDF for form for solve with Southern Cameroon's problem. Because when they form SDF for 1990, they want to be 92. If they be one solve with problem, how come SDF person through the go for La Republic election during that time?
Yeah.
Because even years before they want form the SDF, they will do consultation until the sense of delegation. You go meet up francophone people that like you do black, and some people that for Douala side them. So say if you be in something where we concern are we, how they will involve La Republic people for the and why they will put about the 4-state agenda plan where they go for it. So now I want to ask and see. Now when I declassify the information, say either between for with one state. That means say when I want give maybe now how do you talk? So when I want then tell La Republic say they be really get right when they be talk say they not really fruity, it can't be for palace for it to be because evidence for evidence they get a hidden agenda and why that way they be taking they take it out. Then one thing I want to ask them again I see I don't hear when I talk about Bogin Tinka, we get the talk, say, a get video, where they blame Frundi, say Frundi, they be say me movie parliamentary and then 89, and all those kind of things. So now why that way they be, they think be spoiled. So now I ask the Bogin Tinka to Naso, say, after that, what do you be do?
What do you, Pa, Bogin be do?
Excuse me, now when the interim government, they up, they fight La Republic for do what we got thinking and the rest, they not be able for achieve. Why enough for fit on say this? So me also endorse the interim government. We went to President Sarkozy to have for fight La Republic because he and Frundi are the same thing.
Okay. Yeah, you don't. Your question not clear because your question this will be very technical. No, go ahead. Go ahead. I need to stop you. I just contribute.
You don't end. Let him end. Let him end now. He cannot talk all night.
Wait 1 second. I give plenty
His questions have been understood.
Interim government. Maybe endorse this interim government. I give plenty thank you for Ambassador Foster because he endorses interim government. I give plenty thank you for Barrister Mbesa and Barrister Fruit or some people they don't work out SDF where they take for inside this struggle today. But my problem I say the other one where they did for 32 years where they not be able to do something. Now the interim government they fight. They make ghost and make oracle. Why they not join them? Because you don't play some video for them. I don't see go with two guys and they talk say they don't go rape them. I was here for Twitter. Go ahead, go right and talk say like Republic people go to rape people. They be very shameful for years. Go ahead, go to Twitter they rape people. They rape people that win. They rape people just a few weeks ago. A few weeks ago, it might even 1 week. He got to talk on Twitter. Where go ahead since the council, tell me they bring the team up. Now he fight interim government since 2019, 2021. So we for not finish this war well for the real with people. Now my thinking is my own way for reason too. Now they make up before they still kill with people, real with people today. But yeah, they can't really say they shed each other. Fundi can't die. It is separate video. They say Fundi is spoiled. So. What do you do now? Thank you.
Yeah, Pastor Fu, before you get in, Ochiba Nelson, I'm sure you did not listen to the beginning of the show very closely when I gave an introduction And this is the point. I just like to make to say that again so that we do not repeat as the commentators will be commenting based on what you've said. Now, the reason for the come together when you had late Nanga and Southern Cameroonian elites and leaders, the reason why they came together, you can ask these historians here, they will tell you their initial purpose of coming together was to provide a solution to the Southern Cameroon's problem. At that time, Cameroon was insisting that it was an Anglophone problem. That their coming together was even provoked in 1984 when Biya seceded or changed the state, the form of the state arrogantly. Now, because of the intrusion of people like the Frundi, owing to his political background, Frundi um, became.
Before 1990.
You're still talking. Are you still talking?
No. He should not monopolize the platform.
Ochiba, can you listen? You've just spoken. Can you just listen? Thank you. So, the initial idea that created what they call the SDF, that instead of standing for what they were supposed to stand, they became a national party. The people, the masterminds behind that were doing the same thing other leaders were doing. And their purpose was to help articulate these exact same things of the Southern Cameroon National Council, which is the SCNC. We have evolved today and we are thinking the way we are thinking. I'm sure in 2015 or 2016, you were not thinking the way you were thinking today. Now, for Gojin Dinka, who is still alive, has his reasons, which you have a right to question why he has not made any public endorsement towards President Sako. A lot of Ambazonians haven't done so. But the subject here is, what lessons can we learn from the political opinion of those who took the path they took and led us to where we are today? So, Mr. Fru, please write on.
Yes, thank you, Paddy. Before I say anything, let me congratulate Dr. Chita for his presentation this evening, and because and I will congratulate him with one quote. He says, "The SDF has died with Frundi," and I hereby endorsed what Dr. Chita said. I take offense when I hear somebody said the SDF was a transition to the struggle. I was in the SDF for more than 10 years. I did not have the slightest idea that the SDF that I joined had anything to do with the so-called Anglophone problem. And I want to make it here known that the four-state federation that the SDF proposed came after 1997 that I quoted in my first presentation. It was because Southern Cameroonians were beginning to question the SDF as to what is going on. I have never thought that Frundi had any agenda for solving the problems of the of Ambazonians or the Southern Cameroonians. I never thought that until today. I'm telling you that Frundi died an enemy. He will remain an enemy. Now, the second point I want to make is that let's not cast aspersions on the leaders that gave their whole life on this struggle. Chief, my dearest, most senior colleague, Chief Gojidinka, has given his whole life for where we are today, even if he's no longer an active participant. He launched the fight. He served a prison term because of the fight. He lived in exile most of his life, most of his professional life because of this fight. and he's still living in exile today. To me, he is one of the venerated fathers of this struggle, and he deserves that right. I am sure that he, because of his age, and because everybody should know that Gojidinka is now about 93, 94 years old. You don't expect him to behave like my former boss, Panjo Lutumbe, who was much younger than Gojidinka. Panjo Lutumbe had a dream for the Southern Cameroon being on its own. That the marriage was a Jumba marriage. Now, you cannot cast aspersions. Nobody should attempt to cast aspersions on Chief Gojidinka, because as a lawyer, he knows his limitations. He's limited now by age. He's limited now by any utterances that he makes. Because as you get older, you lose your memory. For those of you who don't understand anything about old age, and for a young man to cast aspersions on Gojidinka, I will not take it. Secondly, Trundi is the greatest hypocrite, the greatest enemy, and the greatest, like my colleague put it, fortune seeker that the Southern Cameroons have seen. He used the Southern Cameroonians to climb politically, and on top there, where he now deals and wines with beer, evidenced by the meeting of Trundi in an upstation with beer. I cannot remember the time, but just after 1997, it's the peak of where he got to get his money, to get most of his money, and most of the advantages, whether it's a wife, or whether it's he himself, because you don't want to forget that Trundi just came back as a dead man from Switzerland. He was in a coma for 10 days and was evacuated by Paul Biya to Switzerland. And when he got to Switzerland, they told him that the brain was dead. It was just waiting for him to catch the last breath, that it would be less expensive if they take him back. That's how he came back 1 day after he died. He has benefited from the system, from the CPDM system that he was an original member. And I would argue that Trundi had never changed his membership from the CPDM since when he launched the party with his cousin. And I attended the funeral of Siga Saga in Baba, and the wife openly accused Trundi for killing Siga Saga. Openly, and Trundi said he was going to swear on his father's grave. That's a different matter, but it has a bearing on the character we're talking about. Again, I'd like to congratulate Dr. Chita for making this statement. The SDF, the Trundi has died, so the SDF has died also, and to back out and leave the Ambazonia, the Southern Cameroon.
Yeah, but through you have belabored your point.